I want to tell my mother how appreciative I've been of this phenomenon called birth. The gateway to this wondrous world filled with mythical people whose smiles induce happiness and fairy tale beasts whose hearts provide us a forgotten romance. This life, painted by the crystalline blues of the oceans and the emerald greens of the forest in my sleep. Everything is beautiful, but my dreams are fleeting. My mother deserves to hear how in her arms I felt loved as the blessed and safe as the innocent. How I've always thought of each new day as a God-given gift. How I've always wanted to say, "Fuck you, Mom! I never asked for this! I hate the life that I live, and I live a life full of hate, so I'm willing, as if this depression was an addiction, to kill myself. I need my fix. I'm 2 rib cages away from going insane and blowing my own brains, Manson. Tell me, do you hear the voices of cry? Do you hear the voices that speak with guns or tongues? Are machine gun shots shouting through the cries of dying sons? Well, you see, I am a dying son, hoping my solar flare shrapnel will explode and write love on my arms because I'm ashamed. I can no longer show my own mother love, so I put knives to my skin, hoping if I cut myself open, I'll find the answers I've been seeking within. See, these scars speak stories of their own, of times I got high, hoping I could find a home within the realm of my artificially created lies, but it's these lies that I've convinced my mind home is a place called hell, and that there's a family of demons living around the corner that specialize in stealing soul from flesh, and all I have left is an insufficient reason stopping me from saying yes, so tell me how much you love me. And tell me how you think I'm special. Tell me that you miss me, and that you don't want me to go. But you don't know how hard life is to maintain when you become kin to your pain. See, I'm waiting for something to go wrong while everyone else is waiting for an unfamiliar resolve. Sometimes the cycle never ends. We slide from top to bottom, this cycle never ends. We slide from top to bottom, this cycle never ends. We slide from top to bottom, and for some strange reason, we turn around to try to climb again. But I never asked for this. I call quits. But I'm living. I'm living, slowly suffocating from these panic attacks and trying to squeeze out the depression that's fixated inside my chest. As each new day passes, I'm closer to losing my breath. And now that I'm heartless, it seems I forgot about warmth and comfort because the only thing I can feel is wrath and anguish. So my gasoline fingers are tracing the incandescent flame of a hopeless poem, and his hand in mine is where destruction starts. Because it seems whenever I scream, people only hear murmurs. And whenever I speak, people only hear murder. Well, you see, I've been murdered. So tell me how much you love me. And tell me how you think I'm special. Tell me that you miss me. And that you don't want me to go. But you don't know.
These days, I feel like the only thing that inspires me is heartbreak. Is my heart breaking, and I feel like I've lost all my poetry. All my words are hidden in trees whose tops are too far for me to reach, but I keep trying to climb the meadoways because God knows I miss my words. I miss my fire. You know, I had fire once. Like that, I don't need nobody, I'm gonna do this thing, watch me run kind of fire. Watch me climb Greyhound buses with pen and paper in tow kind of fire. Watch the sky turn from prairie morning remembrance to Atlantic coastline sunsets for daydreamers. Sitting on cliffs, leaning into the wind, praying to be washed clean by the violence of the waves screaming. But remembering the sound of dishwashers covering the noise of the violent screaming, we were the shifty kids. The hidden quicksand surfers, the married at 17 to escape the shelters, hands in pockets staring at the ground. Spare change, please, teenagers. And they never expected much from our whiskey-chipped cheekbones, our split-lip sing-alongs to police van sirens, our brittle-bellied back-alley dumpster dinner times. We were the needle in the haystack children. Only considered missing if someone was looking, and no one ever came looking, except eyes peering from slow-moving vans along highways stained with tears. Our calendars were the scars that marked our bodies, catalogs to keep track of the days so as to not forget our real names. We never kept our real names. But we knew each other's arms by heart. We knew each other's silhouettes in the dark, swaying side to side in parks, trying to keep warm. We just kept running until the bridges became too tempting, our skin a little too transparent, and we became the Tuesday morning emergency ward wake-ups. The involuntary commitments, the concerns of gentle 24-hour nurses whose eyes never pushed too hard on our bruises. And it was the safest place we'd ever known. And for some of us, it was the last. But now, here I am. Pockets still full of cigarette butts and fingernails chewed to the hope line. Never satisfied to sit silent in glorious moments, I am the limbs, frantically failing across the dance floor to the first song of the night, holding each of the needle in the haystack children in the moments between my heart breaking and my words falling like promises from the treetops. So I promise, I will never stop looking for you.
God, you're right above me, but I feel so far from you. One life to live, so I can't be a model of you, for I'm just a man with free will in his hands. So please forgive me if there's dirt on my hands. If my hands are dirty, God forgive me. I don't want to take what's not mine, but I can't see clearly. There's love in my heart, but there's hate in my head. Crucifixes on the walls, but weapons under the bed. Lately I hate man, but I am man. So do I hate myself? I don't understand. But through the tunnel there's light, so we travel without sight, hoping and praying we'll end up all right. But if at the end there's a cliff, and I fall to my death, I will end a better person without any regret. For my mistakes were my teachers, and life was my school. Love started my engine, but your hate is my fuel. God, you reside right above me, but it seems so far away. My hands are dirty, so judge as you may. God, you're right above me, but I feel so far from you. One life to live, so I can't be a model of you, cause I'm just a man with free will in his hands. So please forgive me if there's dirt on my hands. My hands are dirty, there's no more purity, but there is no purity, for everybody's dirty. We all make mistakes, but lately I exceed the point agreed, till men had to bleed. I hang with cons and misfits who sold drugs in my district, so how can I go to church if my lifestyle contradicts it? I know money means nothing, and yet I thirst for it, and lately it seems there's nothing that I won't do for it, but vanity is insanity, so show me a sign. How to stay honest but above poverty line. I wash my hands again and again. The dirt won't come off. I'm doomed, my friends. God, you're right above me, but I feel so far from you. One life to live, so I can't be a model of you, for I'm just a man with free will in his hands. So please forgive me if there's dirt on my hands. I wash them, I scrub them again and again, again and again, again and again. I wash them, I scrub them again and again. The dirt won't come off. I'm doomed, my friends.
Don't be nice.
Don't want to scare you? This happened.
Our lives unfold theatrically and dramatically with comedic pratfalls, but tragically when death calls. Heroes and villains, all are we. And for this evening's performance, the part of the prodigal son will be played by me. I walked into the room where an old man was dying. I was enveloped by the smell of fear, death, and shit. The odor embracing me like a lover returning home from a long forgotten war. My palms were moist, but a desert baked my tongue as reptiles and cacti wrestled each other down my throat, making every swallow an audible chore. Adrenaline filled my belly and head. Anxiety whispered in my ear like a cheap lawyer giving me bad advice. You gave Mom a memory she'll never forget, when you cracked her skull, broke her ribs, and split her lip. Now, how am I supposed to treat my wife with these lessons I've learned? Well, there are bridges to be burned if children are a roadmap to the parents. We found out soon enough that you were a hitter, And you may think this is why I am so bitter, but I beg you to reconsider the facts. It's hard to be black, and without a father figure to show me where it's at, I got caught up in some bullshit that's wiggity whack. But there's more to it than that. Every time Mom looked at me, she saw you. And every time I looked in the mirror, I saw who? Hello, me, it's me again, and how I self-loathed my old friend. So the identity crisis got lost. At the bottom of a bottle, or at the end of a joint, or between the legs of every woman who was lost and scared and insecure. Just like me. But I learned to love myself with the help of my own family, and you had nothing to do with it. For that, you get no standing ovation, you were just sperm donation. And I'll try not to be negative, so don't get me wrong, but you are not my father. You're just a dude that fucked Mom. And oh, how I wish I had the balls to tell you all this while you were lying there rotting on your deathbed. Instead, I just took your hand in mine. It's hard to think that this is how it ends, stretched out on a bed sheet sorting through a wreckage of regrets. Is that how the song goes? Because you caused as much sorrow dead as you did when you were alive. So why was I at your bedside crying? It's called compassion, motherfucker! And you could not beat it out of me! You could not beat it out of me! You could not beat it out of me! Fathers and sons, cliches and bad puns. Psychological scars aimed at each other like guns of the Navarone. As the prodigal son returns home.
I just want to go home. Ninote Kewan, to this place everyone talks about where there are childhood memories and home-cooked meals and hugs. I want embarrassing stories and smiling brown faces like my own. But all I get on the brown faces are frowns to cover tears, and to the pale green-eyed smiles I can't relate. So I light up another cigarette. 'Cause see, for Halloween this year, I'm going as an Indian. But should I wear a cute little leather dress, feathers and hair, barefoot, quiet, kind, stoic? Or should I wear my teenage pregnancy, my family's addictions, my addictions, and my family's teenage pregnancies? Should I wear my bruises, my dead cousins? I could wear the language my grandfather refused to speak to his children. His French last name adopted out to his niece to protect her from the school her siblings were kidnapped away to. I could wear my childhood friend crossing borders in car trunks to try and visit his brother held in a foster home thousands of miles away. I could wear my low-income tax credit check and my dropout diploma. Or maybe I'll just wear a jacket. One for every man who has died out in the cold, and a blanket for every woman who has felt his unwanted touch, and I don't need to quote statistics to know I would be standing at the bottom of a mountain made of ghosts. Ooh. So I think I'll just wear this, matched with my mother's scowl and my auntie's middle fingers, pointed at every Halloween shop trying to turn me into a costume. Yeah. I'm in love with a man with a disability. It's not the kind that you can see, it's an aversion to human intimacy that they call Asperger's. He never had a problem understanding scientific notation. He could tell you the relation in a mathematical equation using any denomination, but he doesn't understand what I mean when I say, I love you. He's got the kind of eyes that can strip you of your lies, and with them he sees beauty in everything alive in a way you or I could never see. He understands it intimately, and maybe not emotionally, but definitely mentally. He's light years ahead of me. He makes me feel like the Aquaman of the Justice League, like I'm drinking what fishes pee while he's saving the galaxy. And the way I see is pure simplicity. It's absolutely tragic compared to the way he views everything as magic. Like when I look at the sun and I see this great mass of fiery gas, what he sees are the rays of light caressing the earth with its fingertips, leaving its fingerprints in my eyes every sunrise. Even when they're stained with tears, he says the rays run faster than the resulting makeup smears, and although he's got human fears, he's beyond his human years. But I got this hesitation, because he got a problem with communication that makes it seem like he doesn't know what I mean when I say, I love you. And I'm trying to explain that you can't love with your brain, and to explain what I mean, I take his hand and put it between my lungs where my heart should sit. My heart should sit, and I let him feel it beating, and I tell him, this is what love is, how my heart beats out of my chest every time you're around, and he says, I think I know what you mean. I think I love you, but my heart beats like that when I go for a run, when I'm beneath the beating sun, and I'm also quite possibly in love with my exercise machine. Explaining love to him is like trying to do heroin on a trampoline, and I've explained it a million different ways, but I just can't convey love to him. And he don't understand my frustration, that when I'm crying, all I need is for him to put his arms around me. He doesn't get that intuitively. And right when I feel like it's the end, like this misunderstanding could never mend, he opens his heart to me and he says this. Every time I open my mouth to speak, it's like all the words are coming out in Greek. Like there's this language barrier. I can't get by, and you're the only one patient enough to stick around and try to understand what I'm trying to say, to comprehend all the words that I want to convey to you. I will pray to you, because you're the only kind of God I could ever believe in, the only one out here who isn't deceiving, who doesn't treat me like a fucking heathen, and I wish you were even. I wish I gave you everything you gave me, and I didn't have this problem with intimacy. You just don't realize how lucky you've made me. And the least I can do is make you understand that I love you.
Lover?
Yes, lover.
Oh, not another fucking love poem.
Fuck this shit. Will you be my quiet storm?
Yes, lover.
Because you make my heart rattle like a hurricane in a rusty cage, anticipating my release date when I can change your shoreline with gale force winds of change, rearranging your shoreline with undulating tidal waves of sexual chocolate.
Melts in your mouth and
Not in your hands.
Damn, lover. Will you be my ferocious tiger?
Yes, lover.
Because you make my knees shake when you're ready to pounce. Vibrant at such a speed that my thighs jiggle as you paint with expectation. Beauty striped with strength grips wild, pure instinct. Pounce. I want to feel your nails scrape up my skin. Bite. I can see you salivating. Tiger roams the green, searching for a hole in one.
Lover, you put my soul at ease. You're the feeling of relief when the cops let you off with just the warning.
You are ice cream melting in my mouth on a hot summer's day.
You're the warm hug you get when you put on clothes fresh from the dryer.
You are the sensation that pulsates at the center of my forehead when I know something amazing is about to happen.
You're the perfect bite of hamburger when you get the lettuce, tomato, and the pickle. Oh, oh, oh.
Tongue.
Really?
You floor me.
Really?
Hey, I'd like to hear you do a love poem.
Roses are red, violets are orange. Fuck you, you suck.
Lover.
Okay. When I look up at you, I see a mountain, the perfect composite of rock, moss, and life. Your outlook on the world comes from a higher realm. Those beneath you, well, I'm inspired to climb to your altitude. Your wisdom must come from those ancient cedars that sit on the cliff of your ear, whispering wind-worn words to your core. When I fall upon you, you absorb my imperfections and burst springs to drink from.
You are Mother Ocean, deeper than the first thought, more mysterious than original sin. Your heart is powered by the moon, as witnessed by tides. Man and mountains may crumble, but I've seen the ocean break on the shore, then come together with no harm done. No talking, man, all action. You are as selfless as you are pristine. Mirroring the skies, I stand in awe of the heavens reflected in your eyes. You embody calm and chaos as you wrap yourself around the earth in a liquid embrace, knowing that what the world needs now more than ever is a hug. Lover.
You remind me of my potential and inspire me to greater things. Lover, you accept my flaws and allow me to be a work in progress. Lover, you remind me that the human race is a marathon of dancing,
hugging,
screaming,
kissing,
and yes, this is another fucking love poem. Without love, there is nothing else. If you're against love, then you can go fuck yourself.
Because at least
You'll still be making love.
See, the day Dad finally fell in love to a woman so sweet, she had to be diabetic. The sky was clear blue. So I could just imagine she, a fragile sunflower that refuses to wither in the darkest moment, and he, who picks the drooping petals of the fall and finally had the chance to meet death, was wearing a t-shirt. White with the wonder of innocence, the weather that day was warm. She was warm like she was the mother to the sun. He stood there,
6 foot and a couple inches too proud, she laid there, welcoming him with joy, her gaze, gripping the glory in her lifetime. So when he touched her, with those callous hands, I could just imagine a choir of broken violins, a symphony of smiles, a slow dancing heartbeat, a flickering flatline, and death in eternal darkness finally felt alive. So when he held her, ready to take away her soul, there was uncertainty in his eyes. He wanted to stay at her bedside for days, debating if she picked the blossom in the darkness. Such beauty was not meant to be gone unseen. See, my grandmother is a beautiful sunflower. Too sweet for simple words, a God chose to make her diabetic instead, and I could just imagine that falling for the flower. She, a field of nectar so sweet, her smile gave birth to the sun, and death was getting warmer. But how do you take the soul from someone who is already at peace? See, my grandmother is the beauty in the ugly. Death couldn't help but admire her soul. He wanted her to be the halo in his finger. She taught him how to dance in the destruction, how to smile at the eye of the storm. She embraced death like a lost friend, her last friend. So wonder if death could ever blush on that day. Did he look like a rose? Did my grandmother pluck the air out of his lungs? Was he left breathless? And as vulnerable as she was, did she make his knees tremor the day death finally fell in love to a woman so sweet she had to be diabetic? The sky was clear blue. Death was on his knees, and my grandmother, that beautiful sunflower, said, "I do."
When the hell did proving your love become the accepted norm? If someone doesn't like you, you have to impress them to win them over? It's okay to bug the shit out of someone until they give in and settle for you? Sure, it's climactic, but the epilogue is disturbingly boring. So Hollywood can fuck right off. If someone's not going to give me the time of day, then I'm not about to waste my time playing pointless games so that we can eventually make out and then realize that we're not who each other thought we were. I'm not saying you have to entertain every suitor that comes your way, but that it takes two people on the same page to make things grow. Chasing someone down in some arbitrary scenario just strikes me as pointless. I want to get to know you better, and if you want to get to know me better, then we should talk. Maybe hang out, and ultimately get to know what each other are all about and what we're looking for. I've been with enough pretty faces, free spirits, and people who claim to get it, that I know that stereotypical behavior does not a person make. You have to break the surface to get to know someone. Everybody has a story worth hearing, and if anybody is too closed-minded to listen, then they're just missing the whole point of this relationship thing. I'm losing faith in fantasy. You can dress up for your fairy tale wedding and go back to real life the next day. Or you can exercise some patience and hope to find someone who makes every day feel like a fairy tale. Yeah, it's idealistic. Sure, it's a gamble, but at least you're not kidding yourself. Make-believe doesn't do it for me. You can pretend you're a rock star race car driver while you wail on that plastic guitar and grip that wireless steering wheel. You can sing along to the radio as you weave confidently through traffic on your commute to and from your actual job. Or you can spend your evenings writing your own music. And you can use readily available, truly fantastic technology to record, package, and distribute it to the world. And look up your local track days. You'll thank me. You see, I'm more interested in improving reality. You can pursue a post-secondary education you don't really care about. You can take some shitty job that gets you just enough spending cash to complain that you have no money when you're at the bar every night. You can buy ratty clothes by choice rather than out of necessity, and neglect to all in some effort to live some lifestyle that you'll never truly understand because you have a safety net. Or you could be yourself. Be true to yourself. Live the way you want to live and take ownership of the lifestyle you create for yourself. It's easy to follow the pack, avoid real risks, hide your ignorance behind a quiet denial of who you really are because you want to spend more time with people you don't even know because they're doing the exact same thing that you are. Instead of spending time with the people actually doing all the things you just pretend to do because those people, they scare the shit out of you. Look, the answers are simple. Patience can be trying. Getting it done takes a little bit of work. Making yourself get up and do it, that's the hard part. But maybe all you really needed was a little negative reinforcement.
Whenever I go out at sunset, these demons show the most intimate love for my inner being. A love so passionate and life-sucking, I guess you could call it dependence. This symbiotic love of give and take until I have nothing left to give. This body of rock with veins of gold is left breaking down over bite after bite, swelling, and now I've scratched myself raw as these scars illustrate a game of X's and O's, hugs and kisses, 3 across. You lose, play again. I work hard every day, but I can't survive on this hourly wage. See, hourly, this body is waging war on this being, caught in an abusive relationship of give and take, and like our bodies, one side has a little bit more heart than the other, giving the opposite something to fight for. These angels and demons are playing tug of war across these vertebrae, and one is bound to give. These tracks were painted on my inner arms over the last 4 years like the Sistine Chapel, and they show that my success always falls victim to my desires. Now, whenever I go out at sunset, Satan whispers a sweet siren song as white smoke dances burlesque off of my dry lips. Her hourglass curves count my seconds, and I heard that there ain't no rest for the wicked, but she seems awfully at peace in my arms, running her hands up my back like chills down my spine. These nosebleeds are the only way I can afford her ruby lipstick. These tears are the diamonds for her fingers, and these blue eyes have been mine for their sapphire. That's why there's no luster in these lines cut, white-colored, blurry-eyed clarity of this 6-foot blood diamond. And when I wouldn't tie the knot, she got aggravated. Every glance she threw was piercing, and I felt the numbing of her fingernails like Novocaine. She calms my nerves, but I think it's time to take a break from this on and off relationship of relapse and sobriety. It's time to split. Yeah. But still, I don't go out at sunset because these green demons reside in the red of the skyline, and this mistress that stalks me walks in my shadow around this time.
Drinking keeps me honest, and I've laid down enough lies to cover a floor, and I've lied down enough lays to be considered a horseless. Drinking, it keeps me honest, and I just want to feel comfortable telling you this with a few pre-game beers and shots of the Red Mist. Girl, get a load of this.
Your most honest words are slurred, and it makes me want to fish for you. You're so clearly drowning, only coming up for air to order another shot. It makes me wonder how busy your mind must be, bottling up all those messages and not releasing them unless there's enough sea for them to float out of the mouth of your ocean.
Liquor gives me away with the words, but spills splash back to my best shirt. I revealed the stains, but tucked away the hurt. I squeezed the air out of my last gasp. We're going to cancer, just waiting for the right chance, so I offered her up a beverage.
I think I'll pass. It's ironic. You trip more on your words when you're sober. Like your words are the furniture you trip on in your dark apartment, swearing under your breath at all the elephants in the room, until you step onto your bar stool podium, become the circus master again, doing backflip cups and tying tightrope knots into your stomach.
This sad clown needs his audience of barflies and waitresses. I can hold my booze longer than my breath just to show you what patience is on a Friday night. I'm willing to spill my beer guts and fill into the pitcher for the table.
And you're not tired of living with a liver harder than your heart and your liquor? Without fire water you can't even flicker? There's more to life than than this.
Listen, I got 17 years sober and 8 under the nail just getting hammered. Some of my best memories are the ones I can't remember. I met my girl with a glass in my hands, first kiss with liquor on my lips, and I've never been to a good concert without a little something in my jacket. A football game just really not the same without a six-pack. I judge my friends by their liquor rack. I mean, I never would have gotten up on stage if I'd been underage, but you gotta have a little fun every once in a while.
Man, I've been through drive-thrus in a cardboard car. I've been trick-or-treating in November. I invented a sandwich at McDonald's called the McFrickin'. 2 junior chickens, 2 McDoubles, 2 junior cheeseburgers. I spilled my guts in front of hundreds of people.
Spill my drink in front of hundreds of people.
I slept under the stars.
I slept under a couple of cars.
I climbed billboards, jumped off cliffs and bridges into water. I've had someone tell me I'm a role model for their daughters. See, I get drunk off reality. The ups and downs make life a challenge. Traveling, learning, losing, pushing limits, like running a marathon and wanting to die, but then I realize this is why I live. So try living dry for once. You just might like it.
Drinking keeps me honest, but honestly, I've said more than enough, so tonight, I think I'll shut my mouth and think, but to clear my head, I could use another drink.
Dear Eve, did he ever ask permission? Did you ever say no? Dear Eve,
did you ever keep a secret?
Dear Eve, after you were taken from his ribcage, did he consider your flesh his own? Did he hesitate? Dear Eve,
were you ever afraid he'd be angry with you? That you go to hell for speaking the truth?
Dear Eve, did you ever say no? Or did you accept your fate as inevitable when your father,
your creator, blamed you for the corruption of your family, of this world he had created? I am the second woman, created to obey. I was brought here to be laid upon with blame, to be shamed, created of his flesh to ensure my complacency.
Dear Eve,
they told me that Mother Earth was created for their taking, and as mothers of the earth, so were we.
Dear Eve, did you believe them? Did you know then that they would still hold their bullet wound judgments against our chests like silent firing squads? Today, our protests still hold no weight on their church-bound tongues.
I was tricked. I was used, but I knew how to survive, like every woman who has stayed up chain-smoking and whispering in kitchens, writing letters to doctors and counting money to avoid the coat hanger.
Dear Eve, when they found me, I swear I said no. When they drooled with contempt, I promise I said no. When the politicians held my womb against me and forced it to remain round with shame that would eventually be named holy, 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 they only told me that God makes no mistakes.
Dear Eve, I just knew how to survive. Just like every girl hiding in a tree, making friends with caterpillars until the boys found another skirt to chase. I just knew how to survive. Like every woman who has bared it, legs open and eyes closed, until she has the guts, until she has the money, until she has the escape route perfect. I knew how to survive.
Dear Eve, they have bent us further than we have broken.
And what they didn't teach you in Sunday school is that Mother Earth cried the day I was born.
So still, we sit here with hearts that beat resistance.
And mouths that ache in silence.
Like the wound we were built with that was carved from Lilith's rebellion.
From anger as wide as a Grand Canyon.
Like a passageway built from the arc of women's backs.
I was on my own.
We are on our own.
You are on your own.
So fight with your voices. Fight with your bodies. Fight with your teeth and your nails and your iron fists. Fight with your leaden hearts and seal back your bodies. Allow your bellies to swell only when you want them to. Open your legs only when you want to. Cry always when you need to. But always, always fight.
Yeah!
Bang! The sound of the Big Bang still echoes in our ears. We set moments and mixed motions, flowers grew from her hair when we stopped together. The moment was uncapturable, no unfathomable, just so unpaintable. His legs rested, the ripples and clocks felt critical.
Let's hold on to that indigo sky and let the moon shine through.
We all like lovers. I am a father who is yet to father a son. My face is the embittered print of 12 new miracles. Given the chance, I will oversee every miracle with my 3 hands rotating in a clockwise position, just wishing that someone holds me with me.
You know that in-between time when you're counting the seconds until you hear the thunder because you saw the lightning but can't hear that it happened yet? That's the moment we met in. That's the moment we dwelled in.
She is the daughter of no one who held my attention for every second of every second. She was my first and I was a future.
She became my sutures, held me together. But when the edges of the cliffs crumble, he brings on the rain.
The compliments turned into a complaint. I was ready to just walk away and leave my investments.
I need flowers to grow in the cracks of this concrete and feel the kicking of a baby's feet, produce the fruit of a love so sweet. How could you do this to me?
All I got is 2 children who curse with your face. You better learn to respect me before I put you in your place.
Bang! We are their natural disasters, raised by time so it hurts. When the clock strikes 1, father is a constant figure, strike 2. Mother changes with the seasons, strike 3. Time is a broken clock stuck in the motion of a striking fist, strike 3. Time is a broken clock stuck in the motion of a striking fist, strike 3. Mother can't leave because of us.
We are a family of deep roots and routine.
Bang!
If time is money, then I'm an heir to an empire. But how can I live knowing I've burnt down my inheritance? He treated her well once, brushing her hair behind her ears and dancing slow in her sunsets. But often he's more ticked than he talks, and this is a waste. I'm a waste of time, and since the moment he unwound me from a room, I've been broken. Living in a world where my father's footprints are fallen forests and sky trains to nowhere. Sometimes I forget what it was to live like, to live like, to live like. Time wasn't an enemy, but a gift, and that nature was a masterpiece.
Bang! I wish I was happy!
That we're wrong for each other.
But aren't we all?
We ride the ripples of our own falls into pavement. But it's just so hard when you're born a natural disaster.
A barrier reef of protection.
A beautiful experiment.
That stains cities of glass with blood and heartache.
Love is hard to figure out. So is exactly what we want and where we came from.
Never forgetting who we are.
A beautiful separation like knots untangling.
We are disaster pieces.
Leaving only the fault lines of love in our hands.
Bang! The sound of the Big Bang still echoes in our ears.
Momentum brings you balance, for as short as an instant or as long as a moment. Bottlenecks and tight squeezes do still occur when time will freeze to inspect if you are sure of the form of your stance or whether thoughts are pure. It will stall to a stop to see if you can endure the protracted second, that mendicant beckoning to direct your reckoning. More often than not, it's just a bump in the road, a shift of the load that you set into mode. But don't expect the princess to come with this toad, for what is bought cannot always be sold. But still, momentum gives you balance, like how a mantra maintains its trance, or when you know someone's soul in a glance, or the eternity of one final dance. But does this mean that I should become like some roving wind, moving through rooms to maintain a distance from doom? What shall I carry? Must I gulp my tea? Can't I tarry? Won't you finish your coffee at least? Or will my saddlebag sway, display me across the street like some display of defeat? Will this dream deterred or that road not taken hang on my conscience like a heavy load and then explode? How many more miles to go before I sleep? And how long is this road when even the horizon does not know? And when will the fear of happenstance or chance itself scare myself into destruction? At this speed, I feel I need the thought of obstruction to steer me in the right direction. In fact, upon inspection, I am certain that surprise begets seduction. Somewhere, there is dysentery in my decision tree. And brittle blasted rocks are enough to steal control. Yeah, 'cause sand slips beneath my feet. It splashes yet stings dry, and was formed by the breath of the moon in the sky, pushed pushing the oceans of the earth. And this motion, carried to its fullest extent, is then spent on stones that cannot parry their relentless torment. And they are divided by colliding, no longer themselves, yet still something binding, like a potion of time itself, distinct like a diamond. So when you hit that ditch, sand pit, or you age decrepit, you will react or relax, collide or collapse, abide or simply prolapse. And for all the time elapsed, could you say you missed a second? Do you need a second glance? Still they say, momentum gives you balance, to break bonds and to push borders where lords of order and mothers and fathers are not welcome to court the edge. That moment between now and later, where the voice of thunder demands at every corner, now, now, or later. Hunter chased the edge down by bombing a hill, but not even he, with his gunman's gusto and his intense violence, could he touch it. That moment beyond balance, that instant after trance, the fall from a failing stance, or the dying notes of a final dance.
Yeah.
I see all these kids. Yeah, they all got drive, and they're all looking for some kind of vehicle to make them feel alive. Searching for that heartbeat street in a manufactured time. But some roads feel like assembly lines. Some roads feel like assembly lines. Take 2 wrong turns too many. Take the conveyor belt to some idea of a destiny. Get put together, victim of this world. Get taken apart and sold for spares. Suffer from circumstance and pay for the repairs. Get screwed, kid. Get screwed into you a giant mirror so that all you'll ever be is a reflection of your surroundings. Another casualty in another year's election. Counting. Well, don't you see? The pedals are at your feet and the steering wheel is in your hands. But consciousness is only complete when you command. And I see all these kids, they lose their hold, get plugged in, get drugged into cruise control. I see rappers, poets, lyricists looking for that liver beat, but there's a bitter blind prisoner taking up the driver's seat. And I see all I was, and I was always commuting, switching lanes, playing games, self-proving. Well, maybe if I signal this way, I'll have room to accelerate through the traffic. Life is live, and I was getting stuck in the static. I put the key in the ignition to get free from inhibition. But the road I was down kept me caged like a hound. I was honking my horn. I said, "Elvis already, I want to get born. I don't need something with 4 wheels. I need something that's 4 real." And then I gear down to a place where I can finally hear now, where the voices of villains and virtues visit me, delivering messages in poetic symmetry. And I'm communicating my 1,000,000-word vehicle down that heartbeat street, and I see something spiritual. I see all these kids. Yeah, some of them are 45. And they're all looking for some kind of vehicle to make them feel alive. Searching for that heartbeat street and keeping an ear out for a sign. But some roads feel like assembly lines.
This bottle I bought at the curio shop It wasn't shiny or silver or brimming with pop. It was dusty, dirty, mangled, bent, crooked, and cursed with a sizable dent in the pewter that snaked from its wobbly base past a garnet, remangled and misshapen face that embraced the good side of its lower extremes and then stretched to the base of its neck, like the screen. And that neck was distorted, diagonally dipped to a flare that was flaccid, tarnished, and chipped, and the dollar they wanted seemed nothing but dear to pay for a bottle so brazenly queer. But something about it invited my stare, and although it was plainly the ugliest there, I laid down my dollar and carted it home and brought out my buffer to polish the chrome. I scrubbed it with salt, with varnish and vim, and I scoured with steel with the glass and the trim, and I blasted the base with a high-powered hose, powdered the neck with extract of rose. I buffed it with polish, with water and sand, and I burnished and planed, and I pared in Japan, and I lacquered, I gilded, I filed, and I frayed, and I rasped, and I scraped, and then finally a braid. But all of my efforts amounted to naught to get at the grime, the gunk, or the rot, to loosen the rust, the dust, or the sand, until, at a loss, I spit in my hand. And just as my hand went and made the first stroke, bottle erupted in cinder and smoke, and the ash that spewed did a jig in the air. When the smoke cleared, a figure was there, with a body demented, twisted and red, and with fire and brimstone instead of a head, tangled long beard made of sinew and vein, and a fistful of maggots instead of a brain. You, called his voice all shrouded in hate, who awoke from his slumber, the Sultan of Slate will be granted one wish to embiggen your lot. Make your decision. 1 minute you've got. Well, I scrunched up my noggin, I stretched and I strained, and I poked and I prodded the depths of my brain, rubbed at my temples and tapped at my brow, cocked my head sideways, crinkled my brow. I pulled at my whiskers and scratched my head till I made my decision. Then, boldly, I said, make me the wealthiest man in the world. And the Sultan, he frowned, his forehead it furled, his eyeballs erupted in hell leaps of flame. The smoke that enshrouded him shuddered and strained till his essence encompassed the whole of my home. So be it, he echoed. Then I was alone. The Sultan had vanished, the bottle was gone. I was left with a note and a coin in my palm. The coin, it was silver, but worth just $1, and the note simply said, here you go and good luck. For $1 you purchased that bottle of mine, and you could have had peace in the world for all time. That made you simply the richest of men, so here is your $1 back. Try once again.
With a score of 95.6, in third place, please put your hands together for York. I apologize.